All right, cool. We'll get started here as people are rolling in. Thanks for joining another Cute for Teams, Champions Using Teams Effectively. Um, if you're first time here, just come here with questions or chat. So you can use the chat as people are doing already, or you can come off mute and ask your questions as well, and I'll do my best to help. Um, and I did have a topic I was going to talk about, and I even have a poll question I wanted to give you all. But let me address the chat here. So you say you have green room, and then discuss town hall and any other differences in the new teams. Okay, and then since live events is going away. Okay. Um, all right, good deal. So let me do that. Let me throw this poll up though, because otherwise I'll forget once I get talking about something else. Let's go to polls. Where are my poll? Where's my poll? Polls is here, and it's in a draft. So I'm going to uh, launch it. Where? Oh, I guess I got a few of them in here. Okay, launch it. And I don't think this is going to come through on the recording, but you should be seeing the poll. How much is Teams Mobile a part of your team's experience? If you could do that poll. I was just thinking about, I know we don't talk much about mobile here, and I was thinking about I can show a mobile screen live and do some demos there, but I thought I'd get a feel whether that's really a big usage for you. So hopefully you're seeing the poll in front of you or in the chat. Maybe you're not. I don't see any submissions. This is anonymous. Um, okay. Any thumbs up that you're seeing the poll, or is it not working? Okay. All right. 5 responses. What? Oh, I'm probably looking at the wrong place. I am looking in the wrong place. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm all over the place. All right. So the majority of you, 25% or less, I'm guessing, or not at all. Okay. So I might still talk about mobile, but I won't spend 3 sessions on it, sounds like, because it's not unless my quick demo of it convinces you that it's amazing, and then your usage goes up. So, but that's interesting. I was just trying to see, because it does have some different nuances, and I had been using it a little more than normal this week, and that's what made me think about that. So I may talk about it next time, but I won't overdo it. So thank you for that. Okay. Let me go through here. So, yeah, we talked about, okay, so low use, but you'd like to know how to help a few users use mobile. Okay. Yeah, so we were talking about new teams, and I'm thinking by now, from what I can tell, I mean, the rollout has or is occurring for GCC, and certainly for commercial, and in terms of new teams. And in fact, the date is approaching when they'll really start to think sometime in March, maybe into March, when they're really going to try to make that move happen, right, for everybody. So I think we did talk about this a little before, but hopefully everybody on the line now, whether you're commercial or GCC, has it, or at least has the option to have it, a toggle maybe. And you know you've got it if you see the little new symbol there. Also, probably still see the toggle there. It used to be up here. Now it's in the 3 dots there. Um, and let me see. So, town hall. So the question there has got kind of town hall and new teams in the question. They're not necessarily related per se. And for our GCC town halls, not there yet. Now it's escaping me. I think feel like it's June. Maybe a thumbs up if somebody can remember. I think it's June for town hall in GCC, somewhere around that time frame. I think I saw a thumbs up there. So it's not there yet. In fact, this GCC client, and if we look here, we're still seeing webinar and live event. So I think live event has a retirement date of the end of the year. Teams Hall, something like that. I may have my dates a little mixed up, but teams coming first. They'll live together for a while, and then live events goes away. Okay, I'm trying to check the chat there. So town hall. Stacy last week put up a good slide, which I might be able to find quickly in terms of the difference. Town hall there. Yeah, I think this is it. And in fact, so yes, so and I'll put this in the chat. Control C, Control V. And in fact, you've got a difference between webinars and town halls, and then also, and this doesn't look like the chart for it, but there's also a Teams Premium component as well, another chart for some additional capabilities for Teams Premium. A lot of it by way of just increased capacity or larger capacity and things like that. So the link in the chat will bring you here. This should help a bit in terms of some of those differences. I was trying to think which one's worthy of the call out as one of the bigger ones. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I can't. Nothing that sticks out to me to call out in terms of a big town hall difference. And then of course, and we can't see it here, but I think I may have done it last time. The interface is different in terms of if you are a live event user today, going to be using Town Hall, has a similar concept, similar kind of production stage, but what looks different than the current live event today, hopefully for the better. So you'll see more of that as that comes to GCC, or if you're on commercial, you can check that out now. So, and then in terms of new teams in general, biggest call outs are, so the channel experience is really, that's not specifically a new teams thing where now we have the stuff going from top to bottom, but that is certainly incorporated. What's also incorporated is this, clicking links to a conversation and having that conversation like this one, for instance, opening up in its own window. That makes, if you haven't fully dived into your new teams, this seems like a small thing. It's huge. You'll thank me later as you really start to use that, especially if you're just a big multitasker. This is very helpful, having those in their own window. Overall, very slight look and feel differences. Yeah, I'd say that channels and the pop outs are probably the biggest features. I did point out in a previous session a people app there instead of the chat / people. There used to be a drop down here for contacts. That's gone away, and there's now the people app. So that'd be another difference. So, but if you're out there trying to prepare or train your users for new teams from a interface or a usage perspective, I would say there's not that much. I mean, it may be their introduction to the new chat interface, but that's in my opinion relatively intuitive there. And if they never notice or take advantage of popping out conversations, it's kind of like just their loss. Not so much that it'll keep them from doing anything that they're used to doing. It's just an additional feature. I will say, for those that do like that and want to make the most use of it, you want to go into settings and take a look at these two options here in terms of opening incoming notifications and links. Do you want them in a main window or new window? I choose new window. That's where you get the full power. If you believe me that this is a cool feature, that's how you get the full power benefit of that feature, is new window as opposed to main window. And I also start my chats in new windows as well. So, And then I think the last thing I'll say about it is just the uh, tenant switching. If you are a part of multiple tenants, it's easy to add uh, multiple accounts and multiple tenants here, and the switching between them is almost instant. If you've ever experienced it in Classic, you know that it's milliseconds between those switches. It's half a second now, so to the point that it's almost like it's not a switch per se. It's like it's just all there. So that's the other big. That's a huge one for me. Obviously, I have 3 accounts in mine, and uh, I don't know, 4 or 5 tenants. So I switch around a lot. Um, so that'd be another big one for new teams. And then the last thing I'd say about new teams is that if you get it and there is some issue um, that you see, especially if you're unified, but even if you're not, just submit a ticket. Uh, they want to make sure it works well, that the parity is there. You want to make sure they're not missing anything. And a great way to find that out is to see what tickets are being submitted. If, without those tickets, without that feedback, it's a little harder to figure out if anything's missing. But I think I think the last thing they stated publicly is like a 90 something percent. They feel like everything's there. So, it could be something that gets missed. So that'd be my short answer on new teams. Checking the chat here. One issue we found: emojis in the channel name breaks the files. Emojis in the channel name breaks the. Well, that's interesting. So you're saying emoji. So you make a channel, because I do it here, for instance, right? There's lots of channels, and I've got the balloon there, and you're saying it breaks the files. Let's see. Didn't break my files.
Yeah, Ricardo, what we found is it varies a little bit, maybe from machine to machine, but the message people get is your files, not accessible, may have been deleted or may have been moved, and people are freaking out when they see deleted.
Yeah.
And when we take the emojis off, then it comes back. So there's somehow, it's clearly tying into the folder name, right?
Right.
That it's accessing.
And so first question would be, they get this message, they freak out, but when they go to the SharePoint location where it's supposed to be, correct, I'm assuming everything's still there and fine.
Everything's still there, and we take the emojis off the channel, it works fine too.
Okay. And so I do remember seeing a feature to make channel name changes reflect in the folders, because I believe back in the day you changed the channel name, but
it didn't change. You're
right.
It didn't change.
So this is supposed to be better. I think it has to do with
how people put the emoji in, whether they do alt and a number code. Some people said they were pasting them in, so, and it may even tie into what font, files you have on the system, right?
Yeah.
Just so anyway, it was kind of freaking people out.
And that's a good theory about fonts and all that stuff. I like that. In fact, when I do let's see if where's my edit channel. I do, and you can't see me, but I'm holding down the window key and hitting the period.
Correct.
Right. And
I think that works pretty well.
Right. These are the official, safe emojis, right? And I think this Unicode or something, whatever they call them. So these should be safe. But yeah, if they're doing it some other way or some other font is involved, then I could see some stuff going haywire. So, but that's cool to know, because I'd hate for this to be broken to the point now it's no longer a good idea to use these, because they do have some value. I think I've talked about this a long time ago about using them either as a way to sort your channels, since we don't have that manual ability to decide which one is up front. Some people are doing it today with numbers or an X in the front or an underscore, things like that. And so then to be able to do it with something visual, it's not always easy to know what visual emoji precedes another, but when you can, that's useful. So yeah, it's good to know.
Right. So one other thing while I'm talking, I noticed somebody put Teams Cache in. one thing we noticed, so we're in a pilot, right? So people are toggling back and forth. We said, "Oh, clear the team's cache," and we had the instructions to go in and find, it's user data slash teams.
Mm,
The cache has changed. The location has changed.
mm,
Now you need to go to your start menu in Windows and right click on new teams, and then it'll say go to app settings, and in app settings there's a reset button.
mm-hmm.
I think if you could show that, it'd
Yep.
probably be very helpful to people. That's
Yeah.
totally different. So right now, go to, yeah.
Yep. So and I like that. So it's because I think you can get new teams, I think from the store. Let me check that
Well,
here.
we probably can't. I mean, a lot of us can't.
Right, right. And
But that's
actually I
how
don't,
we are now telling people that's how to reset, and we're finding it's working, because we're
yeah.
getting some people are getting an error that says your admin has not given you access to new teams,
Hmm.
but when we do that reset, it clears the error.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, so forget what I said about the store, but yes, the fact that this is one of, and I don't know what these kind of apps are called in Windows, but these ones that are showing up in installed apps with this functionality related to terminate, reset, and repair. I like that. Um, to your point, not just Teams but other apps. It has saved me as well. I think. There are a couple apps every now and then after a while they get unruly and you come in here and just like it says, if it's not working right, you repair it. If it's still not working right, you reset. And if it's still wonky, you do a full uninstall. So I like that Teams is now playing in this space because I guess, without it, it's either like some technical manual clear the cache. You got to go look it up and I don't like going and finding stuff in Windows Explorer and everything that feels wrong to me. So this feels a lot nicer and it's certainly easier for an end user that doesn't want to be too technical to just come in here and see these nice buttons like that. So good point. Yeah. Might be another reason why there's a big push to get everybody on the new team so it can start to play with the rest of these modern apps do. Let's see. I'm looking at the chat here. The Teams cache. Okay. Yep. We use the browser. We use the browser a lot. Can you talk about the new channel experience? New channel experience in the browser. Uh, um, I will say in the browser, it lets you. Let me see what mine actually does. So Teams, I believe it gives you the option even in the browser to go to the new Teams, and it puts a V2 up in the URL. So let's see if I've done that yet. I think I've already done it. Yeah, I believe this is new Teams. So and so I'd say all that to say that from what I could tell, Teams seems to work the same in the browser. Is this new Teams? I think so. Seems to work the same in the browser as it does. This may not be new Teams, actually. This feels like the classic. Um, yeah, this feels like the classic, and that may explain why I'm not seeing the V2 that I saw in my other team. So let's assume this is not new Teams, but my usage of new Teams in the browser seems to be the same as new Teams desktop. And so all that being said, the channel experience would be the same in the browser. I don't know if someone has seen some different behavior in the browser, and that's where the question was coming from. But I've in general seen the same. Now, maybe in terms of like the pop out conversations and whatnot, I don't know if I've tried that actually. And in fact, this is, yeah, it doesn't have the pop out. So I think that further confirms this isn't new Teams. But yeah, that's something I haven't tried is popping out conversations and that kind of thing. That would probably be the difference. In fact, you probably can't even, there's probably no pop out concept in the browser. I have to check on that, see if that's even possible. But that would be the only thing I can think of in terms of a difference from a browser perspective, other than the standard browser differences, like related maybe to cameras and number of views in a meeting and that kind of thing. So. The other big noticeable change we've seen is the move of the join or create a team link. Yes. So let me get out of the browser. Yes. Creating a team, join a team used to be down at the bottom. Now it's up at the top. I've even seen, I think creating channels is coming to this menu as well. To be able to create one without being in the team that you want to create the channel in, and then at the point of creation, telling it which team to put that channel in. Small nuance feature, but could be very useful if you're one that does a lot of channel creation, and again also team creation. If you do a lot of that or a lot of joining of teams, maybe it's a little more intuitive up here. And I had a thought and it just escaped me. Let me see what the chat says. Okay, still we're talking about cache there. Okay, cool. Yep, so team creation there. Good stuff there. Any other differences in the chat? Okay, nope. Spell check. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, live events retire in September. Yep, that sounds about right, I think. Okay. All right, cool. I was feeling like I had thought of another difference, but now it escapes me. I think this is, I think we talked about this, the retiring of the files tab in lieu of the OneDrive button now for your files. So this is probably would be considered a difference. I thought of another one, but now I cannot remember what I was thinking. Da, da, da. Yeah. If anybody else can think of one, certainly come off mute, let me know. But I think that's the majority of it. And then, so let me open up a meeting real quick to see if I can think of anything new in the meeting experience as a result of new teams. Oh, that is what I was thinking about. This little, which can't really see in my demo environment because of the lack of phone and camera, but that little drop down there, what I think is a more intuitive way of getting at the settings for camera and mic. So if this were to work, that drop down would, show my preview of my camera, let me choose a different camera. Same with the microphone, as opposed to it would have been, and I guess it might be still there, be settings, and I think device settings. Still have video settings here, which would show the same thing, as well as audio settings. So you could get there if you really like clicking, I guess you could still get there. Or you could get there from the drop down. So that may be considered a different option there. And we talked about the view options that are coming. They're not here yet. Speaker view, I don't know if we talked about, I think we talked about that. That's not necessarily a new Teams thing, but that is somewhat new. Yeah, that's all I can think about from a meeting experience. Yeah, that's all I can think of. And as a result, again, for those that do belong to multiple tenants, you will also see that if you have a meeting that is hosted in another tenant that you're a part of, your teams will you'll join that meeting as your guest persona in that tenant. Classic way would be having to decide, or you'd click it and I think it'd ask you what do you want to do, or you would just manually change your tenant before joining a meeting kind of thing. So Teams makes the decision for you now, and it's pretty seamless. It just starts up like any other meeting. But if you pay attention, where would you pay attention? You'd pay attention up here in the corner here. Instead of Contoso would say, tenant XYZ. That's how you would know what tenant you're in by looking up at that in the meeting. So that's another one. All right, good stuff. Well, we're about at time. You got 2 minutes to throw another question out if you want. But otherwise, I think we did a pretty good rundown there. So otherwise, yeah, we'll see you back in the next one. I might mention mobile in the next one, but I won't talk about it too much because you guys don't use it. So that's cool. And I may talk about meeting polls on the next one too. So we'll talk about that on the flip side. So thanks for everybody for joining. We'll see you next time.